We are covering the bases. This is when we get your favorite MLB bets in the following categories for tonight's slate on the DraftKings Sportsbook. First base, favorite run line or money line, Erik?
Yeah, this is the time of the year where you get a lot of pretty lopsided lines because you got a lot of games where one team cares and the other doesn't. But we have at least one game where one team has reason to care and the other doesn't, that isn't lopsided, and that's the Mariners, which are now, it looks like, minus 130 over the Angels. It was at minus 120, I think, when the show started, but I still like it at 130. The Mariners, not likely to make the playoffs, but they're still about 5% playoff odds according to Fangraphs, still very much incentivized to try to win every game they can, whereas the Angels are not in that place. And you could tell by the way the Angels offense has performed in September. They're last by WRC plus compared to the Mariners sitting in 14th, middle of the pack. So pretty decent advantage on the offensive side for the Mariners, and I think they have the advantage on the mound as well. Logan Gilbert, well, he does have a 4.74 ERA on the season. Most of the ERA estimators have him right around 4 or even lower. FIP, in fact, has him all the way down at 3.55. Strikes out above average number of guys, 26.3% against just a 5% walk rate. That is a formula that's going to work for him going forward at much better than a 4.74 ERA clip. He had a few bad starts to end August, but 4 good ones in September, 2.01 ERA for the month. So I'm feeling pretty confident in him right now. Jose Suarez on the other side is fine. In 12 starts this year, 4.43 ERA, looks about what he deserves according to the estimators. Above average, but not elite ground ball rate, more or less making up for being slightly subpar in both strikeouts and walks, but not a lot to get excited about there, which I think gives the Mariners, again, pretty clean advantage on both sides of the ball here.
All right, Paul, favorite run line or money line bet?
Emerson, this one's for you. I have a look at the run line taking the Jays against Minnesota, minus 1.5, one for 105 payoff. Jose Barrios starts for the first time as a visitor in Minnesota and comes into this contest on a roll, having put together a string of 5 straight quality starts. He has 36 strikeouts against only 3 walks and has last 34 innings pitched. Meanwhile, his mound opponent Bailey Ober has been roughed up recently, including one start against the Jays, where he surrendered a total of 5 homers and 11 runs over his last 18 and a third innings pitched. Clearly, the stakes are higher for the visitors, and they need to bounce back after two straight lopsided losses. Meanwhile, this is a bullpen day for the Tampa Rays, which does not come with the negative connotation that it does for most other teams. They have plenty of quality and depth back there and will play their patented matchup game to the hilt tonight. That should spell trouble for a Miami team that has one of the worst offenses and has given up 32 runs in their last 5 games. This is a rivalry weekend, though, which gives the home side another added incentive. I gladly give up 1.5 for a plus 105 win on the run line here.
Hey, bartender, make it a double. Let's go to second base. Favorite game total, Paul?
Can you imagine the atmosphere in Boston and New York's wild card game if that should come to pass? We get a preview of that crazy atmosphere tonight when both teams start their aces on the mound. Garrett Cole faces Nathan Eovaldi this evening. If you ignore Cole's last start, both pitchers have dominated all opponents in recent weeks. They both have impressive histories against the opposing batting orders too. So I'm looking forward to a pitcher's duel that will keep the game total well under the line set at 9 runs tonight. Later on, I see the D-backs facing their nemesis, the Los Angeles Dodgers tonight. The season series is 14-2 for LA, well, with Arizona averaging less than 3 runs per game in that set. With the line set up at 10 total runs, I'm counting on LA to maintain that trend of winning, but it leaves their offense to score at least 7 runs if they hold Arizona down 3 or less. Again, that's a tall order when you consider they've done that only twice in their last 7 games. So again, I'm taking the underside here.
All right, Erik, favorite game total?
Yeah, I'm fully with Paul on that first one in particular. Just not really sure why a game with Garrett Cole and Nathan Eovaldi doesn't have the lowest over-under. I know it's 2 good offenses. The offenses are averaging 9.6 runs per game on the season. But, yeah, I think these 2 pitchers should lead to a result that's easily 2 runs below expected. All they have to do is get under 9. Cole has a few shaky starts lately, but I'm not all that worried. Even though he gave up 7 runs on 10 hits against Cleveland his last time out, he did strike out 7 while walking 1, so it's not as if he completely lost the zone or anything like that. Obviously, over the course of the season, he's been as elite as you'd expect. 3.03 ERA, striking out 34.2% of opposing batters, walking less than 6%. That's the third highest strikeout rate among qualified starters, combined with, I think it's about the 10th to 12th best walk rate. And on the other side, Nathan Eovaldi actually leads all qualified starters in walk rate at just 4.4%, and he's combined it with an above average strikeout rate. He's particularly whiffing lots of guys lately, which I think I'll get into in a second. Four straight games with 8 strikeouts or more. So he's pitching almost as well as you'd expect from Cole. So I think those two elite level starters should keep even offenses this good under 9 here.
Erik, we're going to the hot corner, third base. Favorite player prop on this 15-game slate?
Yeah, I just alluded to it, but it's Nathan Eovaldi's strikeouts. It's set at 6.5, and he's hit that in 6 straight starts, with the last 4 of those hitting it easily with at least 8 strikeouts. Over that 6-start stretch, he's striking out a third of the opposing batters he's faced while walking his usual just 4.2%. The Yankees have a good offense, but they don't actually make a lot of contact. 6th highest strikeout rate on the season, and that's with having Joey Gallo on the team for only about half of that. So it's an offense that whiffs a ton against a guy who's whiffing as much as he ever does. I don't think 6.5 is at all high enough here.
What about you, Paul?
I have a trio of those strikeout props, and I love the call on Eovaldi. I think both guys go over that. Garrett Cole as well is striking out the world this season, so they'll trust these starters to go deep in a very critical game for both sides, and I think they'll both top the marks that are set aside for them at 6.5 and 7.5 respectively for nice payoffs. I'll also take the strikeout prop on Berrios, which is set at 5.5. He's gone over that mark in 5 of his last 6 starts, pitching is the best he has since arriving in Toronto, and that'll pay off at a minus 1.05 as well. And finally, I also like a strikeout prop for Frankie Montas. It's set at 6.5 tonight as he faces the Houston club that has the fewest strikeouts in the majors this season. I think Montas and the A's must be feeling quite dejected after being swept by the Mariners and likely swept out of the playoff hunt this season. I'm going to take the underside on that prop.
All right, home, take us there. Favorite DK odds boost available for tonight. Paul, what do you got?
We got a hammer on the Boston Yankees game, don't we? It's the game of the night, and I note that despite both pitchers doing a nice job limiting damage from the long ball, I like the DK boost prop here that looks for one of JD Martinez or Aaron Judge to go yard for that plus 215 payoff. They both have homers in their respective histories against tonight's starting pitchers, and I know I said I don't expect a lot of scoring, but one big swing could be the difference in my expected pitchers' duel. Clearly, they are both very capable in the bandbox known as Fenway Park.
Erik, bring us home.
Yeah, I think I'm on the Adam Duvall to homer one here, pretty much by default. I usually like most of the odds boosts, but I'm pretty scared of the other two. Just the pitchers are too good in that Yankees-Red Sox game, and then Dylan Cease to record a win when he's facing against Shane Bieber, who I know is just coming back from a long absence, but even 75 pitches of Shane Bieber is tough to get a win against. So I think Adam Duvall at a plus 400 to homer. Plus 400 means if he homers 20% of the time, that's break even. Over his last 24 games, he's homered 10 times, so that's 42% of the time. So he's homering almost twice as often as he needs to get this to work. It's not a homer-friendly park in San Diego, but it looks like it might be a bullpen game for the Padres, which I think cancels that out enough to make this an interesting play.